So this is a pretty heady topic, and I think it's a fun one. I think it's definitely something that, as much as I hate to say it, is like very resonant to the moment that we're all living in. Um, but I think it's something that like people, I think there's this tendency historically for people to scoff at things, that are sort of outside of the mainstream. But I think we're getting to a point where we can no longer blow that kind of stuff off. And so I think stuff like this is so important because whether or not you take things like Pizzagate seriously or Bigfoot or you can come up with lists of things that do and don't, pass muster, but it's like if everybody else is taking it seriously, then at the very least we have to study the way that people talk about these kinds of things, because it has profound effects on, does my son get medicine? Do people get food assistance? Like we're living in a world where we can no longer scoff at these things, and I think that this collection is an excellent example of the ways in which this sort of thinking, this sort of, strain in our collective discourse, our collective unconscious, has been with us longer than people think. And I just want to thank you for writing so clear-headedly about it, in something that could very easily become sensationalistic. But I like to start these episodes by defining key terms. So, what do you mean when you talk about conspiracy theories?
Okay, so I'll jump in here and go first. So I think with conspiracy theories, the main definition always revolves around a plot that's ideally kept within a small circle of people. As with real conspiracies, the actual information needs to be well guarded in order to be effective, in order to be able to be enacted if it's a plot of some kind. But with conspiracy theories, it takes this general baseline and kind of expands upon it to pertain to larger topics, and oftentimes involves large numbers of people somehow all kind of thinking along the same lines, whether or not there is any truth to the thought patterns being involved.
You just heard a clip from the most recent episode of the History on Film podcast. For more of this episode and access to all our episodes, search for the History on Film podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and Pandora. Don't forget to like and subscribe the channel here on YouTube. Thanks for listening.